Gamer, welcome to the month of June. Happy Pride to all who be gay and do crime, and also happy birthday to my fellow Geminis. Stay inconsistent, you spontaneous kings and queens. Anyways, let's kick off the month by getting into the games that I played in May. The first game I played this month is Control, the game from Remedy Studios, creators of Alan Wake. I played this because A, I loved Alan Wake and I never really got around to seeing what was up with Control, and B, there's a Control sequel coming out, Control Resonant, I believe, later this year. It's sometime in September, I believe. It just announced at the PlayStation State of Play. So I really do want to play this game, but because it was at the beginning of May, very busy month in May. So I played the first few minutes of this game. It had a good atmosphere, saw some gameplay, it looked good, but with everything coming down the pipe, I just kind of felt like I wasn't going to be ready to give this game the shot that it deserves. Because if you go around the environment, you can see there's a lot of cool little details. And I heard that this is basically like SCP Foundation, the game, if you're into that internet brain rot lore stuff. So I'm really excited about it, but I'll have to play it at another point. I mean, it's a bit of a light summer, it feels like, so maybe I'll get around to it this month or next, but definitely want to give this a shot because I'm also excited for Control Resonant, and that's a completely new, different gameplay style, so let's look out for that. The next game I played this month is Motorslice, and if you're here, you've probably seen the video. I mean, thank you for blowing up that video a bit. Yeah, Motorslice was a lot of fun. It felt like a game that was custom tailored for my tastes, just these weird little niche things of gameplay that, like a chainsaw for combat and like fighting robots and parkour. Like it all just felt very unique, but also not in the perfect way. Obviously, I have a lot of thoughts on that. You can go watch the video. A few things that I feel like I was a little unfair or didn't mention. I did say that it's very empty, and maybe that adds to a vibe. Pacing for the game, like it's meant to be more meditative, a little bit more somber. Doesn't necessarily feel the best to be engaged, and I'm trying not to be super brain rot about this. It is what it is. On the other side, I do think that scaling and the parkour combat was very well tuned, but sometimes a little uninteresting. Climbing the robots didn't feel as intuitive, and honestly, the giant boss robots were just kind of clunky, and sometimes I wasn't sure quite where to go. I think maybe if I overhype Motorslice in my video, I'm a little sorry about that, but I was legitimately very excited, and I do mean what I said for that video. So that's all I have to say about Motorslice. Go watch the rest of the video for that. Now, I played some demos this month. I want to save those for a separate video about demos coming up on Steam Next Fest, but the two that I really want to call out are Funny Racoon Game and Sulfur. Funny Racoon Game is just obviously brain rot the game. Like it's got a bunch of internet memes thrown in there. It's just got this weird sense of humor where like you throw something and it explodes, even if it's like a pillow or something. It's just a big PNG explosion, and I enjoyed it, man. I really do think I think the full game is out, and this kind of brings into question to me like the value of a demo, right? Because the demo has a lot of stuff. Like it feels like it gets the point across, and it's probably the biggest reason that I'm not fully in on buying the game. I was curious about the game, and I'm thankful that they had a demo, but I really wonder if having a demo is kind of hurting them because, I'm sure there is more content in the game, but I don't know. I don't really feel the need to take the leap. I feel like I've played my fair share, so I'll think about that and come back to that for the other video. And Sulfur kind of has a bit of the same thing. Sulfur is a roguelike shooter type deal, and yeah, it's fun. I went through a whole run, I think, without dying, so that was good, but by the time I got to the end of the demo, which was the end of the run, there wasn't anything really to do, and you could actually kind of keep progressing, it looks like, just by doing the main dungeon over and over, but there isn't much progress after that, and a lot of the stuff is just locked, so you're kind of just playing for the sake of gameplay, which, again, is fair, but yeah, it's hard to say. Sulfur, I think I enjoyed on some level. It is almost like a roguelike slash extraction shooter, which is also the other thing that intrigued me, but the art style, something about it just doesn't click with me. I feel like maybe my shots don't feel like they connect all that well, and maybe that's something that I actually think I really like in first-person shooters. So yeah, I don't know, something about Sulfur, it did work for me, it didn't work, but moving on. Now, obviously, the next big game that I played was Zero Parades for Dead Spies. I think this might be my favorite game from this month. It's a little hard to say, but obviously there's a whole controversy around Saum, and my video was very tailored to that, I would say. Controversy aside, Zero Parades is a really good game, I think, in case I wasn't clear. Now, well, I will say, I think after sitting with it for a bit, playing the story through and just really sitting with the thoughts of this versus Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium was a lightning in a bottle moment, man. There's just something about the way that the final cut of the game came came together. Like the voice actor for your internal monologue is just perfect. It's so grungy. I love it. The dialogue by Robert Kurvitz and this team, it's just so, I don't know, man, it hits you right in your core. Now, Zero Parades fell a little flat in that regard. Like, I haven't necessarily gone back and thought too deeply about some of the quotes in this game. Like, overall, it has a great setting, don't get me wrong. Like, I was very much immersed when I was playing it, but it lacked a certain something that made me think about it too much after I played it. And again, it's a very good game. I think it's legitimately a masterful work of art. Granted, let's not talk about the sausage it's made. Zero Parades is just good. I really do think that it was a worthwhile experience, and I do think that if you're into this kind of game, you should play it. Now, obviously I have full thoughts over on the video, but my overall recommendation is that Zero Parades is a great game. It's not quite disco. If you're really looking for a gripping story and you don't mind long dialogue and sometimes monotonous gameplay, for lack of a better word, go play Zero Parades. All right, now I'm pretty sure the next game that I played is, these are a little out of order, but Subnautica 2. Subnautica 2 came out, and a lot of people were excited for Subnautica 2. Not me though, and I'll have to say, it's because I never really got around to Subnautica 1. I'm aware of the cultural impact of it, but just never really got around to it. It is what it is, right? A lot of us have a lot of games we don't get to. But Subnautica 2 didn't quite hook me in the beginning. I think it's just me having to come to terms that I'm not much of a survival games guy. Like, it's not the fact that Subnautica doesn't necessarily have combat or that you're just swimming around a bunch. Like, I think the swimming is actually kind of cool, even though I am afraid of swimming and drowning. But I think overall the game has a cool idea, and you know, it seems like this is a mile wide and an inch deep compared to Subnautica 1, which was very much the opposite, but it is still in early access, so it is what it is. But again, going back to that thing, I'm not a survival games guy. I think I was barely even able to get into Minecraft. And that's also because maybe I was 12 at the time or something, so I didn't love Sons of the Forest. I thought it was fun for a bit, but it didn't stick with me. I'm not much of a fan of the original Forest, and a lot of other survival type games where you build a base and go out and gather materials, they're just not doing much for me for some reason. Which is kind of interesting to consider because I do kind of like extraction shooters, I think. So what is it about gathering materials and building a base that doesn't click with me? I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if I'll make a video about this later, but overall, I'm very happy that people that love Subnautica are enjoying Subnautica 2. I honestly do think that this is just a case where this isn't for me, and that's fine. Let me know if you like Subnautica 2 though, and I'd be happy to hear about your thoughts, as well as maybe tell me, did you struggle to get into Subnautica and now are you liking Subnautica more? Let me know more, but overall, GG go Knicks. Now the next games I played are Forza Horizon 4 and 6. I made a Forza Horizon 6 video, and yeah, I had a lot of things to say about Forza Horizon 6, not as much with 4. I went back to 4 because it was kind of my real introduction to the series. Technically it was 5, but I didn't like the vibe of 5 when I first played it, so I went to 4. And 4 was way more interesting. But Forza Horizon 6 did manage to grip me a little more. I think just the tech has kind of evolved, even if a little bit, it's evolved enough to where I think it's impressive. And again, me being a huge Japan weeb, like I mentioned in the video, Japan as a setting just really worked for me. It felt like it had a lot of great different biomes, and now I'm more of a car guy too, so that's also why I was able to get into Forza. So yeah, I had a lot of shorts for this video, do pretty well. But if you haven't checked out the Forza video, please go watch it. I really did pour my heart into it in a way, even if it's a little dumb and memey. I think it kind of made me fall back in love with racing games, so for that, I really appreciate it. And I hope that we get more and better for the racing genre in the future. So let me know if you have a good racing game to recommend, but for now, I think I'm gonna stick to Forza Horizon 6. Okay, cool. Now, Rune Dice. So Rune Dice is a game that I got a key for, and I'm very grateful for that. Now, I will have to admit, I came into this game because I was hoping for some element of maybe Balatro. I'm always chasing the Balatro high. And granted, Rune Dice kinda has it. Rune Dice is kind of a roguelite in the way that, you know, you go in, you pick a path based on what encounters you want to plan for up and ahead and all the way until you reach a boss. And then in between, you'll do like these little combat encounters based on dice, and the dice are actually compounding. So if that makes sense, like if you roll a 1 into a 1, it becomes a 2, and then that 2 becomes a 3, which can bounce into a 4, and you can really get to these really interesting chain reactions where you just delete the entire board in one go. This is an overall satisfying game. For $15, I think this is like a perfect Steam Deck game, or even just a chill afternoon where you want to squeeze in a quick run. And honestly, that's kind of what a roguelike should be. Now, it does have a deck builder element where you collect dice and, you know, you buy stuff from a shop based on coins that you get from combat, but overall, I think it's just a nice vibe. I think it's a really chill game. And what you see is what you get. If you like rolling dice around, if you like getting these cool combos and wiping out the board in one go, or you just want to have a chill game to like turn your brain off maybe and see what happens, I think this is a perfect game. So definitely give this a shot. It gets a recommend from me. Now let me tell you about a game that I didn't love. Did you know that the dog from this meme has a video game? The game is called This Is Fine Maximum Cope. And honestly, it's kind of just trying to be Hollow Knight. I gave this a fair shot, but I can't say that I enjoyed it too much. This game is sort of a Metroidvania, so to speak. It has elements of Hollow Knight, and the animation is great. It's got like a sort of Cuphead feel to it. But other than that, you know, it doesn't feel very compelling to play. This game came out in the beginning of May, and as much as it kind of is trying to be Hollow Knight 2, we already got Hollow Knight 2 many months ago. And it's hard for me to recommend this game for $19 when Hollow Knight Silksong is $20 and the original Hollow Knight is $15. But honestly, I think if you're looking at this and you're just hee ha-haing, you probably know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a silly little meme game about your favorite little meme that plays kind of like a Hollow Knight. And now, granted, it does some things well. Character designs are pretty creative, map designs are visually appealing, but it doesn't do too much in the format well. And it kind of makes me wonder, who is this game really for other than people that love this meme? And again, if that's you and you have $20 to throw at it and maybe like a couple, I think it's like 6 hours long to throw at this game, go for it. But me, I completely bounced right off of it. This game is unfortunately not one that I will be sticking around for. Now, the last game I played, which was my last video this month, is 007 First Light. And I loved 007 First Light. I wouldn't say that it was my favorite. Again, this and Zero Parades are almost like neck and neck, but it's mostly because they're completely different games. 007 First Light has the combat. It has the fast-paced, like, sort of suspenseful moments, whereas Zero Parades is more low-key. But 007 First Light is everything that I hoped it would be, sometimes a little more. I think the slower mission sections where you're kind of getting into a mission, the pacing of that sort of does make me just want to jump straight into the action, but I understand that this is James Bond. You know, there is some setup, there is some espionage before you get to the action, and that's totally fine. More of my thoughts on my own separate video there, please go watch it, it's really underperforming. But if IO Interactive were trying to make Hitman plus Uncharted, they did amazing. Now, I really do hope that whatever sequel we get, Second Light or 007, whatever, I hope that they iterate on this formula, that they tighten some of the things that felt a little not great and that they polish everything to a little sheen, because I really do think that we could get a 10 out of 10 James Bond game. This isn't quite it. This is more in the 8 out of 10 range for me. I don't usually give scores, but it just feels like the perfect 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 on a good day. But yeah, I really do think that it could be perfect given a little bit more work. So yeah, IO, great game. Let's see what you can do. And obviously, I've played some Marvel Rivals. Now, Marvel Rivals, every season's a little different. Some seasons are better than others. But man, this season has been kind of wow. I don't know what it is. I think it just feels really unbalanced now. Like the dinosaur that they just added. Fair enough. I'm glad they did. It's a cool character. The fact that we have a dinosaur in here that shoots a laser like Godzilla amongst a sea of superheroes and villains is crazy to me, but I love it. I don't care. It's in the lore. Who cares? The rest of the game, though, doesn't feel great. This is a hero shooter. There are counters to people most of the time. But lately, I feel like it's just maybe too many hands in the pie or something, and the game feels unbalanced. It makes me not want to play it competitively. It feels like either I have to play the broken characters or sweat my absolute ass off to get some kills with the characters that I actually want to play, or even just contribute to the team. I hope that maybe they can balance it back with the fun in mind. But yeah, I think this game is making me question more about what it means to have fun in a competitive game. I'm not sure that winning is the main reason to have fun. I think at the worst case, you still played a game, but there's a really negative feeling that comes out of this. And also part of it has to do with the community. I straight up turned off game chat and party chat for this, because even your own team would sometimes be the people that were being so mean and toxic to you and asking you to switch, and you're like, I'm not even the problem here, you know? Sometimes I am, but it just kind of feels like people are very entitled to their opinions, but sometimes they're just wrong. And I'm not saying that you can't criticize me or my gameplay, but you know, it's a hero shooter. There's so many people doing so many different things at the same time. It's hard to pin anything down to one person most of the time, but it's easy to pass your own personal failures along to someone else, and I'm guilty of that too. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that this game gets better. I hope that something changes. But skins, hell yeah, cool skins coming out, I guess. But God, I'm gonna be broke if the game keeps this up, and I'm not gonna be buying all these skins. So cool, yeah. And actually, that is all the games that I played in May. Thanks so much for sticking around to this long. Again, thank you so much to those that watch these videos. Now, if you're still here, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. It means a lot that you would care this much to stick around, or do the dishes while you listen to me, or fall asleep entirely. I'm totally cool with that. Thank you so much for even thinking of clicking on this video and sticking around. Now, this next summer is going to be interesting. I can't think of a whole lot of games coming out, but definitely it might just be the time to get through the backlog and clear some other stuff out. And again, get through some of these big games that came out. I haven't even played Lego Batman. That was something that I do want to play at some point. $70, man, on top of all these other games, it's crazy. And so, you know, yeah, let me know, what have you picked up? What have you been playing? And yeah, see you next month. I'm really excited for whatever comes next. So yeah, thanks so much. See ya later. Love you. Bye.